everyone, welcome once again aboard Julie City. As usual, I'm so excited to have you here. If this is your first time of tuning onto this channel, you are welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, oh my God, thank you for the faith you have placed in me. You can't imagine what that means to me. I really do appreciate. Thank you. So let's go straight into the matter of the day. Coronavirus is the breaking news of the day. It's a virus that has invaded our world and is causing a whole lot of concern at this point. Apart from in China, where it emanated from, it's been identified or diagnosed in the UK, in Paris, and a few other parts of the world. So the governments of these countries and most of the developed countries have put out precautionary information to help us stay safe and stay alive. Some of these precautions are the issues I'm going to be discussing with us today. So the key symptoms of coronavirus are cough, fever, sneezing, sore throat, and shortness of breath. If you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it is absolutely important that you speak to a medical personnel, depending on the country you're from. In the UK here, there are numbers that have been made available for us to contact the relevant personnel to assist us. The key thing, however, is to stay isolated. Try and isolate yourself wherever you are in order not to be a source of contamination to others. How is coronavirus spread? Apparently, from the symptoms, we can pick out how it spreads. For one, it spreads by contact. If we come in contact with somebody who has coronavirus or show the symptoms of coronavirus, there's a possibility that we might become infected by the virus. Another way of being infected is when we come in contact with the droplets of an infected person. So when I mean the droplets, remember we talked about the signs and the symptoms, and one of them was coughing and sneezing. When we cough and when we sneeze, we release droplets. So if you liken it to dust, we will say particles. You know, when you're dusting, the particles go in the air. These droplets can hang around in the air. They can fall on surfaces like table or desk, keyboard, mouse, doorknobs or door handles, just to mention but few. So when they are there, unknowingly, if we get in contact with these items or the air surrounding the person, then we stand a chance of being infected. The third way of getting infected is also equally linked to the previous one I've just mentioned, which is the droplets on surfaces. By touching our mouth, nose, and eyes. By doing this unknowingly, we might have just opened the door to get infected, because we know that our mouth, our nose, and eyes are access into our body. Who is most likely to contact this virus? I'll just read what I wrote. Those returning from Thailand, Japan, Republic of Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, China. So it's just something to be aware of. It's highly important that you isolate yourself for at least 14 days and contact the relevant authorities. The big question now is, how do we stay safe? I know it's easy for us to say Sofiakwa, or God forbid, it's not my portion. However, remember, knowledge is power and wisdom is profitable to direct. Number one is hand hygiene, hand washing. Hand washing, as simple as it may sound, is critical, very important to us staying healthy. As a medical professional, I can't tell you how many times we have to go on training just for hand washing. Why? Because the medical practice understands that keeping our hands clean is vital to the care we give. Our hands can be a source of infection, and coronavirus is not an exemption. So somebody might be laughing if you're not medical inclined to say, hand washing, I do that every day. Yes, I did hand washing every day until I went into nursing and I realized, oh, there's a way to wash your hands, and there's even a better way to wash my hands. Wash your hands with soap and water. Yes, let's remind ourselves, wash your hands with soap and water. How many minutes do we wash our hands? Oh, somebody will say, my God, minutes? Yeah, at least 20 seconds. You don't need to bring your clock to your tap when you're washing your hands. But if you actually do practice it, check it out after this video. Put your timer, watch clock, and go to the tap and wash your hands for 20 seconds. You will understand how long it takes to wash your hands. And then you can apply that to your daily practice. That way, hopefully, we all stay safe. And how to wash our hands? So first things first, to wash our hands is by wet our hands, apply soap, wash, and then we can actually just kind of grind it. There's no medical step, just making sure that all aspects of our hands are covered. That way our hands are nice and clean. Yeah, if you're timing 20 seconds for the first second time, and then you know what to expect of 20 seconds. Having lathered and rinsed out our hand, washed our hands and lathered our hands with our soap, we go to the tap, we rinse it out. When do we wash our hands? Of course, when our hands are visibly dirty. So I know a lot of us do wash our hands when we visibly see that they are dirty. I don't know anybody who will take their physically, you're seeing your hands and they're dirty and you still use it like that. That is common practice and we all do it. However, there are times when we have to wash our hands, not because they are physically we can see them dirty, but because we have done certain things, have been to certain places. When we go to the toilet, take time, 20 seconds at least, wash your hands. When we go to toilet, whether for number one, which is we, or number two, which is poo, either way, wash your hands, because that toilet flusher, the knob, whether it's a handle or a button, could be infected. But even if it's not infected and you say it's in my house, I don't use public toilets, but you go there every day and sometimes you might be in a little bit of a hurry, and you understand what I'm saying. So when we've been to the toilet, whether for number one or number two, please wash your hands using the correct technique that I've just demonstrated on the video. When we have touched contaminated things, for particularly to coronavirus, we talk about when you've touched raw products, raw meats, please wash your hands. When you come in contact with raw meat or even animal products, wash your hands. It's that way we break the chain of infection. And if peradventure, which we all do, we touch our hands on our mouth, our nose, or our eyes, by washing those hands, we've actually saved ourselves from the possibility of getting infected. Other times you might not necessarily wash your hand. When you touch anything, like if you touch keyboard, you don't necessarily have to wash it. If you do, fine, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Or every time you open door, you run to the toilet. No, there is something that we could also use, the hand sanitizer. But I want to say this, the hand sanitizer should, or the hand gel as it is known, should not replace hand washing. When your hands is visibly dirty, please wash your hands. Or you've been to the toilet, or you've touched soiled stuff. You are parents and you're changing your baby nappy. I know we love our children. Don't just say it's my child poo. My child poo will not kill me. And then immediately after changing the nappy, you wrap it up, throw it in the bin, and that's you handling your baby again. No, don't do that. You stand a chance of infecting baby or infecting yourself or your family, your loved ones, especially in this season of coronavirus. So the hand sanitizer or the hand gel, you use it. Probably you've touched something that is not necessarily, like you've just been on your keyboard, or you've been in a public keyboard or mouse touch handle, you just kind of clicks. You use your hand sanitizer. They come in different sizes and shapes. So, and even colors, I've seen colored ones. I think I have one here. So this is also a hand sanitizer. This is a portable one. You can actually carry this in your handbag. I bought this from one of the shops, Home Bargain, but they are literally in every shop around here in the UK, and I'm sure in Ireland, if you're watching from Ireland, Australia, America, and if you're in Nigeria, I'm sure ShopRite will also have something. I'm not too conversant with how all the shops now, but I'm sure you relate with this, because during the Ebola time, hand gel was something that was very prominent. So please get yourself one portable one, put it in your purse. If you're a woman, yes, add it to one of your purse item, and that way when you come off the bus or the car, even your car, or you've been to public places, if the water is not readily available and your hands are not visibly dirty, then you can use this. The other one is this, which you can put in shared places in your home. You can put it by the entrance of your door, and you can actually ask people to use it. Use me. You can put a sign there, use me, so it doesn't sound rude, like you're saying, oh, wash your hands as soon as you come in. No, use me. As many can use, or you yourself and your family form a habit of using hand sanitizer as soon as you come through, if you didn't necessarily have to wash your hands. Yeah, I have this one with the plunger. The plunger is really nice to have for things like hand washing liquid like this. I always will buy the ones with plungers. Why am I saying that? Because if your hands is infected and you go turning around trying to unscrew the bottle, you already infected your hand for the first time. Somebody else comes and try to unscrew, so you're literally making that also a potential site of infection. But when you have the plunger, you have minimal contact to the whole of this thing. You only just plunge, but nothing can replace hand washing, remember. So that's one. Number two is respiratory hygiene. So respiratory hygiene simply means when you have cough and cold, cover your mouth and nose when you sneeze or cough. That way you minimize the spread of the droplets. Cover your mouth with a tissue. By doing this singular act, you have actually reduced the risk of infecting others. How? Because you have curtailed the droplets. Remember the droplets we talked about that could fall on surfaces that others, or even in the air for others around you to get infected with. Yes, by doing this, you've actually reduced it. You might say tissue is not really available to me. I would say look for tissue, like like the packs of tissue. Yes, you can have them in your pocket. Let that become a routine for you while this whole thing is in air. Stay safe, remember. If you end up using your hands, please wash your hands after that. However, the least you can do is use the hand gel immediately and wash your hands as soon as you can, so that you don't become a source of infection for others. What do you do with that tissue? Don't put it back in your pocket. Don't put it back under your sleeve. Please throw it in the bin immediately. That way we prevent the spread of the virus or even any other infection or germs. So number three is being aware of your personal space. Maintain a good personal space between you and the next person. Leaving a bit of a distance between you and people, especially in public places like on the crowded streets, in the train station, at the bus station, in a meeting, in a gathering. Just make sure that you maintain that space, especially for those who exhibit some of these symptoms. By doing so, you'll be reducing the risk of getting infected. The number four thing will be cleaning and disinfecting common surfaces. By common surfaces, things like we mentioned earlier, like the table surface or desk surface in an office, the keyboards, the mouse, doorknobs, etc., etc. It's important that we clean them. Now, there are things that I found in the shop that I already use at home, and I thought, I'm sure some of you would know it. This is really nice. They said this one is a floor wipes, but you can get one that is not just for floor, it is for cleaning surfaces. Smells nice. Smells clean. There are different brands. This one I got from Aldi and it's cheap, affordable. So this you can just literally use and throw in the bin once. The other way, if you say I don't have wipes, or it's not readily available, or it's too expensive, not in my budget, simple strategy. Have your little cloth. I always like one-off use items, so use once, do all my cleaning and bin it. I don't have to use it again. So you get clean cloth, warm soapy water, a drop of Dettol. You can save that in a container and actually use it from time to time. The best way to do it, like I said, is to have container with a plunger, so you don't have to be dipping the cloth into the water, because every time you wipe once and dip it into that basin or bowl of water, you've actually contaminated that bowl. But if you have it in a squeezy squashy plunger like I have in this one, then it's easy for you to just spray and wipe, spray and wipe, spray and wipe. At the end of the day, you bin. So you can use tissue. If you don't have a cloth, use tissue. Like I said, I'm a big fan of once-off use materials. I'm not really a big fan of napkin wash and rewash. I have napkins at home, but I usually don't like the wash and rewash situation. I love one-off. Another thing, my personal opinion, you can use something like Milton that we use to sterilize baby bottles. Yes, if you store it in a container like I showed you with a plunger, and you're good to go. Another secret that I always have is I carry baby wipes around with me. I'm sure at this point you'll be thinking, oh my God, she's a germphobic. Yes, I carry baby wipes around with me. I have baby wipes in my car. I have baby wipes stored by the side of my bed. That way, sometimes you come in contact with dirty stuff and you don't readily have the water, especially when you have to touch food, because if you touch, say, a biscuit while you're, say, in the car and you put it in your mouth, if your hands have been contaminated, then you are transferring that on the biscuit, and that biscuit goes into your mouth and that goes into your body. The chance of infection to time. The 5th thing is our eyes, our nose, and our mouth. If we touch our mouth, nose, and eyes, we can actually introduce infection if our hands are infected. Be conscious about how many times you do it and how you do it and when you do it. If your hands are not clean, then please try to avoid it. I know when your hands are dirty, trust me, that's when you have this nose itch. But please minimize. I think the key word is there is make cautious efforts to avoid. So it doesn't mean that it will not happen, but just be conscious about it. So number 6 thing is seek medical advice. If you begin to show any of these symptoms that we have discussed, which are cough, sneezing, sore throat, shortness of breath, or fever, please seek medical advice and try to stay away from the public. If you're in your house, try and isolate yourself as much as possible from the other members of your family, just to keep them safe. And the number 7 thing will be avoid consuming raw meat or similar products. So like your beef, your pork, your chicken, please cook them properly. Even the eggs, cook them properly. That way, by consuming these products properly cooked, you're eliminating or drastically reducing your chances of getting infected. Number 8 thing will be observe good food safety practices or hygiene. Good food safety practices or hygiene. For example, if you have a chopping board, please have 2 at least. 1 for cutting your meat and meat products. So like your goat meat, your beef, your pork, your chicken, don't chop it or cut it up on the same board that you use to cut your vegetables, especially those vegetables that you will eat raw. If you have to, then please wash it properly before using. But the best advice will be have 2. 1 for chopping up your meat and beef and chicken and all of that, and another one for your vegetables. The other big thing is that one of the signs, like I put on my thumbnail, is putting on a face mask. It has been said that face mask is not a necessity except for those who are already infected. Remember, the key thing is to protect yourself and your loved ones from this epidemic-like virus. Stay safe, stay well, for our health is our wealth. Remember, if you have not subscribed, please press that subscribe button and the notification icon, and please leave out your comments. Let them pour in. Let's learn from one another. Let me hear your views. Let me hear your opinions on the coronavirus. And if I've left out some things, let me hear. I know that there's a whole lot of updates coming regarding this, and we are all still in learning at the learning stage. So if you've heard another thing I've left out, please share your experience with us so we can also learn from your experience. And we wish you all the best and quick recovery. Thank you. Until I see you next time. Bye bye.